process. Now, say a project management process is a series of interrelated actions and activity with a common goal that are performed to achieve a pre-specified set of product, results, or services. Now, what it basically means is that, like I told you in the one of this training, that a project must have a start date and an end date. Now, in between that start date and end date, the series of activities that are going on to achieve the objective of that project is what is being regarded as what the project process. And now it is grouped into 5 processes that we are going to be talking about in the course of the project. Now, those 5 processes are the initiation, the planning, executing, monitoring and control, as well as closing. Now, the initiation is talking about trying to identify a need for a project, identify a problem and a need to embark on a project to solve that problem that you have identified. And also you create out the... Now, once you have been able to identify the problem in the initiation phase, you assess them and to know if the project is actually worth embarking on. So that's what the initiation phase is all about. Then after that, you move to the planning. Now you put series of activities together that will help you achieve your objective that you're able to draw out from the initiation phase. So they said you establish the scope, you define objectives, and develop courses to action to attain those objectives that you have set out. Now, after you've been able to make a complete plan, the next thing is for you to start execution. You carry out the execution process. Now, all the things that you plan in your planning phase, you begin to start putting them into action via the execution phase. Now, after the execution, the next thing there is monitoring and controlling. And the monitoring and controlling and the execution phase, they go together. Now, in the course of executing those plans you've made, there might be need for changes. There might be 1 or 2 errors. So those are the things that the monitoring look out for. And you try to control those things as the project continues. If there is anything you need to change, you make the changes and then you execute. If there is a mistake made in the course of the project, you correct that mistake and then you re-execute. That's how you continue till you are able to meet up with every plan that you made, to meet up with the general objective as defined in the beginning of the project. Then after the monitoring and control, then you finalize the project and close it formally. Now, this is the project initiation phase. Like I said, first of all, you identify the business problem and opportunity. Then you develop a business case. Developing a business case is all about gathering information about the project or problem you want to solve. And you try to see if the problem is worth solving, if the project is worth embarking on. You make all your assessment, you gather information to know if this business or project will actually benefit you and if it is worth embarking on. That's what the business case talks about. Then the next is the feasibility study. Now, since you have come up with a project that you will carry out to solve this problem, or a project that you want to use to meet up to take advantage of this opportunity, now you do a feasibility study. You assess that project to know if it will really give you the desired benefit that you wish to achieve from carrying out that project. So that's what the feasibility study talks about. Assessing your option of project that you want to use to know if it will really actually benefit you, if that option of project will actually give you the desired objective of solving that problem that you identified in the beginning. Once you are satisfied with the feasibility study, the next thing is you establish terms of references. You and your project sponsor will go through this business case feasibility study, and once you are satisfied, both of you will come to an agreement and then sign the project charter, and from there funds will be released for you to carry out the project. Then also you have to set up your project team, who are those that will be going to be assisting you in the course of the project. Also, you'll be setting up a project management office where all the administrative work of the project will be carried out as well. When you are done with all this, you perform a phase review. Go through everything again to ensure that it is the way you want it. If there are any new changes or new information that you can add to the business case, you add them, you assess them, and if they are satisfactory, then you close this phase and move to the next phase, which is the planning phase. Now, this is a business case. Like I said, it's a business case represents an optimum mix of information used to judge whether the project is and remains desirable and achievable, and therefore worthwhile investing in. You gather information, you assess them to know if that project is worth investing in. Now, how to develop a business case? The first thing there is for you to give a detailed definition of the problem or opportunity that you have identified, and the objective of embarking on a project to solve that problem, as well as the benefit you will tend to derive from carrying out that project. So these things should be well defined and known by you, the project manager, and the project sponsor as well. Then the next is you analyze your potential solution option. Now you've known the problem, you begin to bring up possible solutions, and now you assess and analyze each of those solutions that you're bringing up to know which of them will bring out more benefits from that problem and from that project that you want to embark on, or from the problem that you want to solve. You bring out the best option to use to solve that problem. You understand? So let's say, for instance, you travel to a community and originally you found that this community does not have a river, and therefore they have challenges with fish. They don't have fish. Now the only way they get fish is to travel once in a week to a far away community where they buy fish and eat. Now, coming there, you've been able to identify that there is a problem in that community, which is they don't have access to fish, and also there is an opportunity for you to make profits or benefit from that problem. You understand? Now you come up with the best project to carry out that will bring out the best of the benefit from that opportunity that you have seen. Now you can say, okay, maybe you come from a community where that is a riverine area, and there are lots of fishes, and fishes are very, very cheap. And you can decide to go to your community and be bringing fishes to this community to sell. Or you can decide to, okay, build a pond in the community, then you will breed fishes for sale. Now, these two options that you have to assess these two options. Which of them will benefit you the most? Understand? Then also you assess the cost. What is the cost of setting up a fish pond and breeding fishes, and the cost of having to transport fishes from your community to this community to sell. And you assess the two costs and you go for the one that is favorable to you. Also, you will assess the risk that are involved in this project that you want to carry on. If you say you want to start bringing fishes from your community, now there can be an accident can occur and you will run into a massive loss. What about bandits on the road and so many other issues that can occur in the process of transportation and all that, and even the process of transportation and all that. Then also you identify you assess the other option, which is to construct a pond. Now you assess it. What are the risks if you should construct a pond and start breeding fishes? Now you think of how you are going to be buying feeds. You buy fish, you feed all these fishes, and most of the time when you feed all these fishes, most of them at times do not come out the size that you desire. Some of them might die after you have involved in feeding them, and the rest of them. So all these are risks that you have to consider before you choose an option on which project to embark on to solve that problem. Understand? So once a preferred solution is selected and agreed on, both you and the business sponsor will go to the business case, if it's research and everything. And once the project sponsor is satisfied, then you will sign the required document, which is the project charter, and then funds will begin to be released for you to carry out the project. Now, the next thing is the key philosophy, business case key philosophy, is that a business case must drive the project. And you must make sure that your business case come out with a benefit that will be a motivation for you to carry out this project. And that is, there must be an objective that will help push you. Let the objective be an objective that will push you to carrying out this project. Then also they say no satisfactory business case, no project. Once you find out that your business case is not satisfactory enough, you're not optimistic that this business will meet up the desired benefit, or this project will give the desired objective, maybe as a result of the risk that you have assessed, you've gone through the risk and you've seen that the risks are very high. You understand? So there is tendency that this business might not come out the way you want it. Once you start having doubt over the business, the objective of that project, or not attaining the benefits of that project should not be embarked upon. Then also, it must be maintained throughout the project. The objective of that project must be big enough to make you maintain it all through the project period. Understand? There will be no reason for you to have divided focus. Let's say, for instance, in the course of the project, after you decide to go for the pond, making of a pond. Now, when you start going on with the project, you begin to think that the cost of making the pond is too much, and are thinking of going to the other option when you have already started this project and all that. When all those distractions start coming in and those pessimism start coming in, it will do what? It will hinder the objective of that project. So your focus and determination should be put into the project. Once you have developed a satisfactory business case, make sure you maintain the objective all through the course of the project. Then it says, should justification of business need disappear during the project, stop that project. Now, once there is no need for that project again, stop the project. Let's say, for instance, this fish business that you want to embark on, you now found out that, or maybe a news now broke out that, maybe during the course of the project, a news now broke out that this coronavirus that is so dreaded is carried by fishes. Now, people will be scared of eating fish. You understand? And at that point, people will not buy the fish that you want to rear, which means the need for that business has disappeared. So at that point, that business should be terminated immediately. Now, the next is that you perform a feasibility study. Now, the feasibility study, the purpose of the study is to assess the likelihood that the particular solution option will achieve the benefit outlined in this business case. Now, this project option that you have chosen to tackle this problem, will it actually give you the desired benefits? This is what the feasibility study is talking about. You have to assess if it will actually give you the desired benefit, if it will actually give you the desired objective of that project, of that problem that you want to solve. So you don't have the way to do the feasibility studies to carry out a forecast of cost. You understand? Forecast the cost that you'll be using to carry out this project and know if it is something that you can afford. Another reason to forecast the cost is that when you forecast the cost and using the cost of the project, you can then compare it to the potential benefits that you are to make from this project and see if the benefit outweigh the cost, you understand, before you know if you have to embark on the project. Also, you should have to do some risk assessment to know if the risk associated with the business or project are acceptable or not. If the risks are not acceptable, it is advisable for you to terminate that project. But if you see that the risks are acceptable, you can then embark on the project. You also check out for likely issues. If the issues that will arise in the course of the project are issues that can be avoidable, or if they should come, can be tackled and resolved. So you do all this before you know if you are to proceed with the project. Now, after you've done that, the next thing you set up a project office. Now, this project office is going to be the base of the project team, and where every other equipment, tools, materials, and everything related to the project are going to be kept as well. This project office can be visual or physical. A physical in the sense that you maybe build a temporary house where the project team and every other team will be kept. Or you can decide that you need to build a place. People will have a place where you meet every once in a while to discuss the project, or maybe you can even decide to do it online. Do your meetings online regarding the project. So this project office should contain every form of tool, material, equipment that will be used in the course of the project. Now, once all those things have been done, you've done all those, you come to your business case and the rest of them. And once you've done all that, the next thing you do is you perform a phase review. This phase review is to check and to ensure that the project stage of phase has achieved its objective successfully. To check if maybe the objective been properly achieved, if the study have been properly done and satisfactory, and this phase is good to go. Once I've done the review and I'm convinced that this phase is successful, what you do next is to move to the next phase, which is the project planning phase. And before you move to the next phase, there's what they call a project charter. A project charter. And this project charter is like a document. It's a document between the project sponsor and the project manager. Understand? After all the business case, everything has been done, you and your project sponsor will assess everything that you have done. And if your sponsor is in terms with it, agree with everything that is in the business case, then what the next thing for you to do is for you to come to terms of reference, sign the chapter,